Toxic self-talk. Have you ever wondered why you look at things from a glass is half empty? You think negative of yourself. You think negative of the things that you're doing. You think negative about the people around you, but you always feel like you're in a negative space because you're talking to yourself from a toxic standpoint. Well, today we're going to give you tricks and tips to get around that. Because I'm Dr. J.
And I'm Dr. C.
And we are Two Doc Minds.
Thank you for joining us. Today on a Two Doc Minds, we will be talking about that toxic voice that sometimes we all hear in our voice. And we're going to give you some tips and tricks on how to let that toxic energy go.
Absolutely.
Especially nowadays in 2024, we find ourselves in this toxic circle of where we have this negative energy that we are constantly feeding ourselves. But on this channel, in today's video, we want to give you a couple of tips on how to fix that.
Absolutely. I mean, if you struggle with beating yourself up all the time, you're not alone. Many people in 2024 struggle with their mental health. I mean, we've been working with a company really providing mental health support. And I want to say, if you're thinking about an app, companion app, think about Prosper app, Prosper.
Yep.
It's a great self-companion app that will get you to begin to reflect on your mood, journaling and doing a lot of things. So make sure you do that. But the topic of this video is how do we begin to set that mindset, right, Dr. C?
Yes, absolutely right. How do we stop that toxic talk in our own heads?
Correct.
How do we stop it in its tracks? And we're going to give you a couple of tips and tricks. So for anybody out there within the sound of my voice, if you're watching this video, please like, comment, and subscribe and hit that notification bell. And we want to provide you with content that's going to help support your journey, help support your career growth,
Absolutely.
and help you in your overall wellness and well-being. So let's get right into the topic today.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And that's how to stop toxic self-talk. So our first tip of the day is, what is an inner critic? What does that mean? Why are we looking at ourselves and being our own internal critic? Is it the voice you have in your head that is always saying you can never do anything right? Is it something that contributes to your depression? What is that inner critic that we oftentimes have when creating this self-toxicity in ourselves?
No, Dr. C, you hit that on the head. Is that toxic voice that is saying, I cannot do this, or I am not good enough, or someone is better than me, or someone has this advantage over me. It's that toxic talk that allows you to fester in a world of self-hate, if you will, almost. And so what do we need to do? We need to always think about positive things. So what did I do every morning? I get up and I use the Prosper app.
Okay.
But I also listen to positive affirmations every single morning. Mm-hmm. Why? It sets my mood in the right framework. So I go about my day being positive every morning, every day. I listen to something positive soon as I wake up, so I can put my mindset in a positive space.
Yes, yes, yes. That voice sometimes prevents us from doing the most amazing things. That voice that you allow to infiltrate your brain, it stops you in your tracks and stops you from walking out the door. It stops you from applying to that new job. It stops you from moving to a different location. And all of these things could potentially be great changes in your life if you did not listen to that toxic inner voice.
And again, that's how you heal, right? So we talk about, that inner critic of yourself, but how do you hear it? And to your point, Dr. C, it's not ignoring it, right? You don't want to ignore that voice, right? Because that voice is in you. You acknowledge it.
Okay.
Right? But what do you do thereafter? After you acknowledge that exists, you do things to change that, right? Mm-hmm. And you do things to start treating yourself nice. You do things to start telling yourself positive affirmations.
It's work.
You begin to do things that make you happy. So you acknowledge it and then you set on the path to correct it.
So that's what they mean by put in the work.
Yeah, put in the work.
Changing those habits that don't serve you.
Yep.
Changing your environment, changing your friends and your
That's
families that constantly feed you that energy that's not going to push you to the next level. It's the hard choices.
Yeah. Some of the hardest choices is cutting off the people that's close to you.
Right.
Cutting off friends that are close to you. Cutting off family that is close to you. Cutting off behaviors that you've been doing. Because that's that old saying, if I keep doing the same old thing and expecting
something different,
it's a definition of insanity.
Yeah, absolutely. And we don't want to be insane. That's why we're giving you these tips on this channel so you can make some different choices right now.
And you can begin to absolutely and begin to correct it.
Yeah, absolutely. So some other steps. Do you have any other recommendations on how we can avoid this toxic void in our head where we fall trapped to sometimes, especially in 2024?
I mean, yeah, I think you got to understand why you're saying these negative things. Is it because you're embarrassed? Is it because you have low self-esteem? Is it because you have low confidence? You have to figure out why you're telling yourself negative things and then correct that.
Yeah.
Right? And then correct that, because that's going to be critical. Again, for me, I know I used to be in that boat, right? I used to think that people were better than me, that people were smarter than me, that people were faster than me, right? And those things. But I began to work on myself, right? And re-identifying who I was. And I was able to do the work and begin to tell myself positive things. And if you do that over time, just like the cycle of negative news become who you are, the cycle of positive things become who you are as well.
Right. I think I agree with you. And I think a lot of people and a lot of listeners can absolutely relate to the fact that when we look at some others outside of ourselves and constantly watching others do things, we get misinformation. That's misinformation. Me looking at you and measuring myself against you is not accurate. I have to measure myself. I have to turn the camera towards me, if you will, and say, this is what I can do better, and these are the steps that I can use to do better, and stop being so toxic and putting that misinformation in my head and do the right thing to move forward.
So once you know those things, right, then you figure out how you can, to your point, can correct them. If I'm not happy with my body, then
do something about it.
Do something about it.
Yep.
If I'm not happy with my performance at work, do something about it. If I'm not happy with my relationships, do something about it.
Do something about it.
If I'm not happy with my financials,
make some changes.
Right? And you keep on doing that, and you find out what it is that you need to do to make those changes and make them immediately.
And you'll notice that toxicity will slowly dissipate and never exist anymore, because you're focusing on the things that matter.
Yeah, just wake up every morning and say to yourself, I love me.
Yep. It's that simple. It's that simple.
I love me. I love me.
That's it. Over and over again.
I love me.
Yep.
No matter what someone else thinks of me, I love me. I don't need someone's affirmations to make me feel positive. I'm going to tell myself before anybody else tell me. And that's the most critical piece.
Absolutely. I agree with you. So if you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, leave some information in the little comments below, and we would love to respond to some of you to see how this information is helping you move forward and get rid of that toxicity in your life.
In your comment section, just say, I love me.
Oh, there you go.
Right?
That's a good call to action. I like it.
I love me in the comments. And we want to get 1,000 of those in our comments.
Oh, yeah.
Because we know that will spread the positive vibe that you need to move forward with your day.
I like it.
So continue to watch Two Doc Minds. I'm Dr. J.
And I'm Dr. C.
And thank you for watching.